I came across this article, I believe on Friday. I believe it was on Friday. And I almost forgot about it. I had retweeted it on my Twitter account. And I said, well, Oklahoma is definitely now going to be a state where I don't have to worry about going into now that they've passed this bill. Not that I probably would have gone there anyway if they hadn't passed this bill. But Oklahoma just recently passed a bill that allows anybody, and I do mean anybody for the most part, to acquire a handgun, a firearm, without the need of a license. That means they can walk around outside and do whatever with a gun on their holster or in their hand, and they will not be asked to present a gun license, whether the ownership of a gun or the carry conceal license of a firearm. And shocked to my surprise, when I was getting ready to do, let me get this out of here. Shocked to my surprise when I decided to do a video about this, it turns out Oklahoma is not the first state that allows this to happen. It's actually the 13th state to allow this to happen. It was 12 others before it that pretty much kept it hidden, but now they've pretty much been exposed due to this article and recent revelation. So I'm going to go ahead and read this article that's coming from CNN, and we're going to find out what the other 12 states are. Carrying a gun without a permit is legal in dozens of states, and perhaps soon in Oklahoma. Residents in Oklahoma may soon be able to carry guns without a permit or a license. If that sounds shocking, know this: people in 12 other states can already do so. Oklahoma Senate Bill 1212 already approved. The state house now heads up to Governor Mary Fallin, a Republican who says she supports the Second Amendment. Fallin is now reviewing the measure, her spokesperson told CNN affiliate KFOR. The legislation applies to gun owners who are at least 21 and to military service members or veterans who are at least 18. It wouldn't allow anyone to take a gun into places where the state law prohibits them. But it's the fact that they can just walk around aimlessly with the gun. That means that if they wanted to shoot at somebody, they can just do it outside. It didn't say that they couldn't carry outside. It just says you can't carry in an establishment that says you are prohibited to have a gun in there. Now, here's the part where I was talking about already the law in 12 states. Oklahoma bill is similar to so-called constitutional carry laws in 12 other states: Alaska, Arizona, Idaho, Kansas, Maine, Mississippi, Missouri, New Hampshire, North Dakota, Vermont, West Virginia, and Wyoming, where residents are free to carry guns without permits or licenses, according to the NRA Institute for Legislative Action and the Givers Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence. Now, what do all 12 of those states, I guess you could say 13, including Oklahoma, have in common? These states are all predominantly white. Probably the state that's like I would say slightly mixed up would have to be Mississippi, but even then that's predominantly white too. Now I would dare them to do that for DC or Maryland or certain parts of New York or New Jersey. You know, the states that have a lot of black residents in it. These states are what you call your rural states, aka white towns. So it doesn't surprise me that they made this a law in those particular states. It doesn't surprise me one bit. And if they made this the law all across the board, they would have so many restrictions for black people. They might as well just snatch the law right back and go back to the original way. Oklahoma Senator State Nathan Dahm, the Republican who sponsored the bill, said forcing gun owners to secure permits and licenses infringes upon their Second Amendment rights. This is the only right that we require people to preemptively go and do a background check, go through the fingerprinting process, the licensing process, jump through all those hoops in order to exercise their constitutional protective right. And the Second Amendment is the one right that says shall not be infringed, Dahm told KFOR. Notice how it's a lot of white people who love to talk about the infringement of rights, but only when it infringes on their rights. When it comes to black people, oh, you can forget it. You have no rights, according to them. Opponents offered a variety of arguments, including that the measure would hinder law enforcement officials' ability to contain criminal suspects, that it would deny the state a critical revenue source, and that its vetting process was rushed. Permitless carry is an incredibly dangerous policy that will make it easier for people with violent histories to be armed in public, said Allison King, a volunteer with the Oklahoma chapter of the Moms Demand Action for Gun Sense in America. That part right there, that would simply mean that anyone can get a gun in those states, even if they have a violent past with firearms. That means they could come probably smooth out of jail and still go to their local gun shop and get a gun, even though they've already served time in prison, probably for attempted murder with the possession of a firearm. But this is only going to be mostly for white people. Look at the states that I mentioned. How many black people do you know live in those states? I bet you probably not even 2% of that state's population, if that. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. I'll talk to you in the next one.